Hello, everyone. Welcome once again to EXPU Lab. I'm Bryon Ellington, Chief Learning Officer from eXp Realty, and I am joined today by Kunal Seth of the Seth Brothers, eXp Realty in Houston, Texas. Kunal, how you doing?
I'm doing super fantastic today.
Just like that. How did you guys get into the builder community there in Houston?
Happy to share. So one of the things that I do really well in my prior life, Ryan, I used to be an auditor, and auditors are wired, trained to find gaps or issues. So when I got my license, a brand new 2014, I did a gap analysis and figured out what was working, what was not working in the market. What I found, Brian, was there were a lot of legendary brokers and teams in the Houston market that have been around for 25 to 40 years, and all of them had one thing in common. What they had was they had a preferred status with these builders. What that means is a buyer walks in the sales office, says, I want to buy a home, I have a home to sell, and I'm not working with the realtor. The builder would say, call one of our preferred partners. I said, I want a piece of that action. I want my team to be preferred. Not easier said and done. That was my ask to get preferred status. Then as part of gap analysis, I figured out what these realtor teams were doing well and what they were not doing well, where the gaps were. And my strategy was the pieces that they were not doing well, I went double down with them. That was step one. Step two was I had to identify a neighborhood or community which was very active with builders and new construction. So where I live, there's a neighborhood called Riverstone. In 2014, it was the number one selling neighborhood in Texas, number 5 in all of America. We had 18 to 20 builders. So strategically, we applied certain strategies to create a lot of activity in selling new construction homes, helping these builders be more successful. And in 12 to 14 months, builders like Taylor Morrison Home, Darling Home, Meritage Home, and a few others made us preferred. So that's a quick overview. I can certainly go in depth about each strategy, but intention was to partner.
I would love that. The first question I had, though, for you is, oftentimes it's instructive to hear what not to do. When you did that gap analysis and you realized that there were some opportunities for you that the other agents weren't doing, can you share an example of what you mean by that?
Absolutely. So the basics about selling new construction home, when you contract with a builder, the home construction can take 6 months, sometimes even up to a year. And the process is very different, not buying a resale home that you can walk through and see what you get. It's a process of construction. In the construction process, you have to have that relationship partnership with the builder salespeople. You have to attend and be involved with the pre-construction meeting, pre-drywall meeting. When that's done, the buyer is expected to go to the design studio, pick the selections, flooring options, cabinets, all of those. Then most buyers, when they buy new construction homes, we recommend them to hiring a home inspector who does a foundation inspection, pre-drywall inspection, and final inspection. So my gap analysis, what I saw was the preferred partners would be there on the day of contract to get it signed and then show up on the closing date to collect the money. But the main time gap between 1 to 12 months, they were MIA, missing in action. So I said, I'm going to come in and bridge that gap, but I'm going to hold my client's hand throughout the process. First, the other gap was when realtors, no matter what market you're in, when they are in tune to selling homes, resale homes off the MLS, they don't have the inventory knowledge of new construction homes. So first thing was I had to learn all the builders, all their floor plans at the back of my hand. Every weekend, me and my business partner would do open houses. We put up 80 to 100 open house signs that were yay big with the branding on it. When the buyers would come in, before they came in, we would know all the inventory homes, all the floor plans that were available in that neighborhood. When the buyers would come in, we would engage with them effectively. Then one of us would stay in the model home in the open house. The other one would take them around every model home. So in time, these builders saw that these realtors are bringing us buyers proactively. They know about a product line. They're selling a product. That was a starting point. Then when we went under contract, we would attend all these meetings, go to the design studio, attend the pre-construction meeting, attend the pre-drywall meeting, attend all the inspection meetings. This way, we became an extension of the sales team. They would rely on us to move the buyers along. We're building relationship with these buyers. So strategically, we came in to put sweat equity, time and effort in areas what the other realtors were not doing. So that's a quick answer, Bryon, where we focus on what they were not doing, went down along with that, but that helped us create better relationship with these clients and the builders.
So I'm curious, you mentioned the strategies. Would you mind kind of taking us through and giving us some examples along the way of how you did what you did?
It's absolutely yes. So when I want to build my market share and sell new construction homes, while I may be committed, my business partner may be committed, but I also have to create an environment or a business model that's aligned with the financial goals of my team members. Because the biggest roadblock we had was when I sell a resale home, I get paid in 30 to 45 days. Whereas new construction, I get paid in 6 months and 12 months. So most realtors live hand to mouth.
Yeah.
They sell a home, they earn the commission, they spend the money, work a few weeks and take a few weeks off, right? So I had a big objection, but I wanted to create a business environment where I could motivate my agents to be focused on selling new construction homes. So internally, what we did was, not from my brokerage, we made a policy that we had certain checks and balances. If a team member had so many contracts in the books, even if they were 6 months out or 12 months out, we would partially give them a draw from our own pocket, every month based on the living expenses. And when the contract closed, we would adjust the commission split and recover our money. Now, that allowed my agents to stay focused on selling new construction homes instead of chasing resale. Because my philosophy is, if I or an agent in any market sells 10 resale homes, potentially you'll work with 10 different listing agents. But if you work with different builders and you sell 10 new construction homes, it's very likely in the next 12 months, you may work with the same builder again. Mm-hmm. And when you do that, you're adding value to them, selling their product line, promoting their community. In return, they will either give you referrals or will give you the listing. So I had to create a business plan, which was more long-term sustainable, to promote my team members to be engaged in selling new construction homes.
Yeah, and I think there's a bit of advice there for the newer agents who might be watching this. This is not a strategy that you necessarily want to go cold into unless you've got a huge reserve in the bank. In Fast Cap, we talk about this concept of burn rate, right? If you have $10,000 in the bank, your monthly expenses are $2,000. Well, you got 5 months before you need to start putting money back in that bank, right? And because of that, this can be a great complementary strategy if you already have an established business that you can sustain yourself with, but it is not necessarily going to be the recommended strategy for a brand new agent unless they've already got those connections. And again, they've got that burn rate capital in the bank to sustain themselves. So as you did that over time, was there a particular strategy? You mentioned open houses. Was there other strategies that really stood out to you as, man, I'm so glad we did that, because that really helped establish us?
Absolutely, yes. So my ethnic background is I was born and raised in India, spent some time in Africa, and I'm multicultural, multilingual. So I understand the international buyers really, really well. So in 2014, I bumped into the division VP of sales and marketing for Taylor Morrison Homes. And I had maybe a minute-long conversation in a parking lot. And he mentioned to me, his name is Jim Ellison, that Kunal, you and your team have sold a lot of homes with Taylor Morrison. And a lot of your clients are international clients, especially from South Asia. What do you know about them? In 60 seconds or less, I had to say certain things to Jim that were impactful, that I was a subject matter expert. And he was blown away what I shared with him. He said, wow, you seem to know a whole lot about these international buyers. Can you train my team? I said, absolutely, yes. He said, in 2 weeks from that day, they were having a citywide training for all their salespeople and construction managers. And he asked me to do a training there. That's when I went back to the drawing board, spent 24/7, 2 weeks, create a training program called How to Decode and Win Cultural Buyers from India. I did the training. In the training, I took my team with them. Now, I'm standing on stage with about 150 people in the room. Now, the ones who do not know me got to know me. And I'm there doing the training for free, helping them convert clients so that the salespeople can earn more commission, earn more money. huge value to them. Fast forward 10 years to today, from that date, I have traveled nationwide. I've trained 10,000 plus realtors and builder salespeople. I trained the lending team, construction team, because I want them to know how to work with international buyers. So again, it comes back to, on an ongoing basis, I had to have the mindset. Not only am I going to sell the homes, but I'm going to continue to add value to these builders through training, through going to the design studio. When I do all of these things over and over again, that becomes the culture of the Seth Brothers team. That becomes the culture how we operate working with the builders. And when my team members walk into the sales office and they say, I'm so and so, and I'm with the Seth Brothers team. Oh, Seth Brothers team. Let me see what I can do to help you. They get the attention and time. Strategically, what I also did was, almost all markets have builder association, builder organization. So Houston has a GHBA, Greater Houston Builder Association. And every year, just like how Oscars are awards, we have awards for Houston market, Builder of the Year, Realtor of the Year, Salesperson of the Year. So 2014, I actually won Realtor of the Year award. In the last 10 years, 6 times my team has won either Realtor of the Year award or Team of the Year award. And these awards are coming to us not based on sales volume, based on value we continue to add to these builders. So what I'm trying to highlight is you got to sell the homes. That's basic. But beyond that, when you're adding tremendous value to these builders, they'll come door knocking to you and say, you know what, team, can you list our homes for sale? Can you do an open house at a model home? Can you sit alongside with me when the buyers come in and you can take on those leads? So these things are more long-term strategies, but you got to start early on, build a relationship with these salespeople.
Got it. Yeah. You mentioned the some of the trainings that you've done for them. Are there other trainings that you've done that you think is worth mentioning?
Absolutely, yes. So I believe in training coaching on an ongoing basis. And what I truly believe is role playing is the most effective way of handling objections. And if I can say this, most realtors, when they do open houses, they act like tour guides. Here's a bedroom, here's a bathroom, and the buyer can see on their phone or on Zillow.com the specs of the home. It's the effective engagement that you got to have at an opportunity at an open house where you demonstrate your knowledge and expertise about the neighborhood, about the community, about the builder, why buy there, the tax rate, the school zoning. That conversation is critical. So I believe in training, coaching my team members. So every week, my team members do open houses. But prior to the open house, midweek, we have an in-person meeting at the office. And we role play. Anyone's doing the open house, we bring them up. And they got to role play with us. We challenge them, throw all the possible curveballs at them, and they get better and better. So what I train people is, no matter what you're doing, whether you're at an open house or networking, always have a top-down approach. What I mean by that is, a bottom-up approach would be if you at an open house, you'd only talk about that home, right? That home may or may not work for that client. A top-down approach would be why you should live in Houston, why that suburb, why that neighborhood, why that street. And when you have that conversation, you get to understand the buyer's needs, the likes and dislikes. So even if that home does not work for them, you can direct them somewhere else. So official training that I do is a big one, which is how to decode and win cultural buyers. The other ones that I believe in is doing DISC profile, which is, DISC profiling. Yeah. I do training for that as well. But I do more of hands-on training for agents and realtors in the market, how to engage more effectively. How do you demonstrate your value? When someone asks you, Bryon, what do you do for a living? I don't want you to say, I'm a realtor. Everyone would say that. It's why you're a realtor. What got you in the business? What your passion is? How you align with them? So it's soft skills training about why you are in the business, why they should work with you. That's what I focus on more than the other trainings.
Yeah, I really love that. It's interesting. I tell the story of the lady who sold us this home was a friend of ours, right? Realtor. And I bought it off market. The seller was going through a divorce and just perfect timing, all of that. And then I was talking with her afterwards. She said, "Whew, you really saved me." I said, "Well, what do you mean?" She said, "Well, I was going to have to spend all this money on marketing the listing, and now I don't have to spend that." I'm like, "Well, first off, we're not done. The deal's not done. We're just pending, right? So, and pending is not the same as sold, my friend. And the second is, what do you got to market in your business that's more marketable than this listing? That's going to attract buyers and other sellers. What do you have? Your glamour shot? She's a lovely person, but that's not what buyers and sellers want. They want to see that you're a dominant agent who knows the area and you're making sales happen. And so the idea of promoting builders listings, that should just be a no-brainer. Now, again, we want to be cost conscious, right? We want to make sure that we're not spending money that we don't need to spend and that we're holding our dollars accountable if we do spend them. What a great opportunity to put yourself out there as an expert in the community by marketing those properties and also at the same time getting good with your builders. So I really like that. All right, Kunal, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your hard-won wisdom. We really appreciate you and all that you're doing.
My pleasure. Love to add value to our fellow EXP agents to help them be more successful.
And we love that you love that. And we love you. Thank you very much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. We hope this helps you build your builder strategy and go out there and dominate your communities. Until then, I'm Bryon Ellington with EXPU Lab. Thanks for tuning in.